My message is simple. No matter how powerful you are, no matter how much money you think you may have, no one is above the law. And it is my responsibility and my duty and my job to enforce it. The law is both powerful and fragile. And today in court, we will prove our case. I thank you all for being here. And again, justice will prevail. Thank you.
So the words there of the woman who's prosecuting the case against Donald Trump that could threaten the existence of his business empire. Letitia James will lead the state of New York's case again, alleging that Mr. Trump inflated his riches so much and for so long that he defrauded banks, insurers and others. For his part, Donald Trump said before the trial opened that he again is the victim of a witch hunt and that the charges are politically motivated.
This trial was railroaded and fast-tracked. This trial could have been brought years ago, but they waited till I was right in the middle of my campaign. The same with other trials and indictments. And frankly, our country is corrupt. And that's one of the reasons I'm running. We're going to straighten it out.
Well, Ethan Behrman is an attorney and adjunct professor at Loyola Law School in Los Angeles. Welcome to DW. Let's start with that charge from Mr. Trump. He said that this case could have been brought years ago and it's only being brought now to upset his run for the presidency. Is that true?
Well, patently on its face, it's not true because this case was revealed to the public back in August of 2020 in a court filing. Therefore, he wasn't even running for president in the 2024 election at the time that we found out about this case. Now, whether or not it could have been filed years prior, that has to do with what the prosecutors knew and when. Here it's the Attorney General, Letitia James. And we're not aware of exactly what she knew and when, but we know that, again, based on that court filing in August of 2020, she had sufficient evidence to begin to proceed with this case long before he ran for re-election in 2024.
OK, so now we have this civil case. But last week, we had a ruling from a judge that Mr. Trump or his organisation had inflated his company's worth in order to get access to loans. So a judge ruled that last week. So what did that judgment have to do with today's case, which is just starting?
Right. So that is a ruling on something called a summary judgment. A motion for summary judgment is part of the litigation process where, in this case, both sides said that there were more than enough facts in the record that are incontrovertible that the judge could make a ruling on the face of the evidence that had been collected thus far. And in this case, the judge ruled against Donald Trump and his attorneys and ruled mostly for the prosecution, AG James, saying that on the face of it, the evidence showed that he had committed fraud and had inflated the business valuations. And therefore, based on New York state law, he began the process to revoke the certificates to do business in the state of New York. So that's on the law, but there aren't, not everything was decided. As I said, it was a partial summary judgment. So the trial continues today.
So what would a guilty verdict in this trial mean for Donald Trump?
Right. I mean, that would really be what I would call a stake through the heart of the Trump enterprises if they're unable to do business in the state of New York at all for at least 5 years, I believe is what the law is stating, and gets anywhere up to $1 billion judgment against his various enterprises, prohibiting Donald Trump, his sons, and several others that are named in this litigation from doing business for at least 5 years. His ability to make money from real estate will be diminished greatly. However, as of today, he continues to rake in tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars from his very rabid base of supporters who see that all of this is the opposite of reality.
Right. So in the vast array of civil and 91 criminal charges facing the former president, how does today's case stack up against them in terms of importance?
Well, I mean, this is very important. However, it is critically important to differentiate between a civil case, such as we're hearing today, versus a criminal case. A criminal case, like he is facing around the January 6th allegations, would potentially remove his liberty. And this is why we take the standard of proof that is required in a civil case is much lower than a criminal case. A criminal case is beyond a reasonable doubt, meaning we have to believe overwhelmingly that the evidence means he might lose his freedom to be put in jail or prison. Whereas in a civil case, it's a preponderance of the evidence, 50.1% leaning toward his guilt, and he doesn't lose his freedom in a civil case.
OK, thanks. That's very clear. Ethan Behrman, who is an attorney and adjunct professor at Loyola School in Los Angeles, we thank you so much.
Thank you.